We'll start this afternoon's program. Three films. There's a films division film to start with called Symphony of Life, which is produced by V. Shantaram, directed by T.A. Abraham. And this was in the official competition section at Cannes Film Festival in 1955. Followed by a film by a visual artist and a filmmaker, Ayisha Abraham, who lives in Bangalore. And this film called Straight 8 comes out of her interest in looking at and collecting and working with found footage. Material that amateurs and various other people have shot over the years. So she collected a lot of footage which was shot in the 1940s in Bangalore and Mysore and made a film with the person who made movies out of these. It's about that character. And the third film is Man with Movie Camera, Dziga Vertov's big 1929 silent classic, which will follow at the end. So a little bit about the first film, Symphony of Life, made in 1955. This is the year when V. Shantaram can be said to be at his peak. The peak of, I guess, the second portion of his career, the first portion being when he was at Prabhat, second portion being when he was at Rajkamal. And this is the same year that he was making Jhanak Jhanak Payal Baje, followed by Do Aankhein Bara Haath. And while his earlier films were dealing more with the social realism of the 1930s and 40s, here it's anything but that. It's more opulent. It's more the cinematic and exaggerated and camp kind of portrayal of the Indian peasant. Very enjoyable film. No commentary, music, and beautifully shot in black and white by the director himself, T.A. Abraham, which will be followed by Ayisha. So we'll introduce that when we get there. So the 1950s, we're looking at the Indian peasant, follows, the life in the village from morning to night, and of course travel all over the country. And it's the time when your visual artists and everybody is engaging with the peasant, with village life and so on. The reason why this film is chosen today is because Dziga Vertov's Man with a Movie Camera follows the same morning to night kind of structure. Though the gaze of the camera there is very different. I mean, if this is celebratory, even romantic, that is anything but. It's more observational, and it's about image making, and to the extent that the act of making the film is as much a part of it as anything else that they photograph. So that's what we'll get at after the next film, which is Ayisha Abraham's Straight 8, made out of found footage shot on 8mm by a person called Thomas Aguiar in Bangalore, who filmed a lot of 8mm footage of things in 1930s and 40s, and a lot of this was lying discarded in his residence. Rikhav, who's here, edited part of it in Bangalore. It's a collection of either just random footage of people's holidays, of their picnics, events in the city, or these fictional thrillers, suspense thrillers, kind of narratives that Tom used to produce, pretty much, shoot and make in his own garden. A lot of that is here, including an interview with Tom. And what's very interesting for me, looking at the three films today, is again the whole nature of found footage and how we look at it now. How something that was shot in a different age, how you interpret that if you had to, if you had to use it in a work of your own, like this, or what Ayisha does with Straight 8, or what Dziga Vertov does in Man with a Movie Camera, where you're documenting something and it becomes as much about the act of documenting as it is about. So Straight 8, Ayisha Abraham, 17 minutes.